What if I told you your anger isn't the real problem? It's just the symptom. The real reason you keep exploding is something you buried long ago and it's still controlling you without your permission. You've probably said this to yourself before. I need to control my anger. I overreact too much. Why do I get triggered so easily? And maybe you've tried everything, staying quiet, walking away, counting to 10, but somehow the anger keeps coming back, sometimes even stronger than before. But here's something most people don't tell you. Anger is not the enemy. In fact, anger is one of the most honest emotions you have. It doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend. It shows up loudly because something inside you has been ignored for far too long. So instead of asking, how do I control my anger? A better question is, what is my anger trying to protect? Because anger is often a shield. And behind that shield, there's usually something much softer. Hurt, rejection, fear, or even abandonment. A lot of anger issues don't start in adulthood. They begin much earlier, in moments you may not even consciously remember. Think about it. Maybe you grew up in an environment where expressing emotions wasn't safe. Maybe you were told to stay quiet, be strong, or stop crying. Maybe your feelings were dismissed, ignored, or even punished. So what did you do? You adapted. You learned to suppress. You buried your emotions because that was the only way to feel accepted or to survive emotionally. But here's the thing about suppressed emotions. They don't disappear. They store themselves in your body, in your nervous system, in your subconscious. And over time, they build pressure, like a bottle being shaken over and over again. And one day, something small happens. Someone says something slightly off. A situation doesn't go your way. And suddenly, the bottle explodes. Not because of that moment, but because of everything that was never released before it. That's why your reactions sometimes feel bigger than the situation itself. Because you're not just reacting to the present. You're reacting to the past that never got processed. And this is where awareness becomes powerful. Because once you understand that your anger is not random, it becomes easier to work with it instead of fighting against it. Now, controlling anger doesn't mean suppressing it again. That's what caused the problem in the first place. Real control comes from understanding and regulation, not repression. So how do you actually deal with anger in a healthy way? First, you have to slow down the moment. When you feel anger rising, your body reacts before your mind does. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tighten, your breathing changes. This is your nervous system going into a fight response. And in that moment, logic disappears. So instead of trying to think better, focus on calming your body first. Take a deep breath. And not just a quick one. Slow inhale, hold, and then a longer exhale. This simple act tells your nervous system, I am safe. And when your body feels safe, your mind follows. Second, give your anger space without acting on it. You don't have to react immediately. You don't have to respond instantly. It's okay to pause. It's okay to step away. It's okay to say, I need a moment. Because most damage caused by anger happens in seconds you didn't pause. Third, get curious instead of judgmental. Instead of saying, why am I like this? Ask, what am I feeling underneath this anger? Is it hurt? Is it feeling disrespected? Is it fear of being ignored or abandoned? When you identify the real emotion, the intensity of anger starts to reduce. Because now you're addressing the root, not just the reaction. Fourth, express, don't suppress. But expression doesn't mean exploding on others. It means releasing your emotions in a safe way. You can write it down, talk to someone you trust, or even speak it out loud to yourself. Because when emotions are expressed, they move. When they're suppressed, they stay stuck. And finally, healing the past. This is the deeper work, because if your anger is coming from years of suppressed emotions, you can't just fix it overnight. It takes awareness, patience, and compassion toward yourself. You're not too angry. You're someone who learned to survive by holding too much inside. And now, your system is trying to release it. So instead of hating that part of yourself, start understanding it. Because the moment you stop fighting your anger and start listening to it, it loses its power to control you. And you gain the power to respond instead of react. And that's the real goal. Not becoming a person who never feels anger, but becoming someone who knows how to handle it without hurting themselves or others. Because anger, when understood, can actually become a guide. A signal that something needs attention, healing, or change. And once you learn that, you don't fear your anger anymore. You work with it, and your life starts to feel lighter, calmer, and more in control. If this perspective helped you see your anger differently, even a little bit, consider staying connected. There's a lot more we explore here about emotions, healing, and understanding yourself on a deeper level. You can subscribe to Untold Psychology, only if it feels right for you.